There's a new kind of battle in Britain, and Christianity is again at stake. Dale Hurd reports from London.
The coronation of Queen Elizabeth. Like British monarchs before her, she promised to maintain the laws of God and the true profession of the gospel. But Britain today is at war with the gospel and with itself. Christians who try to be Christians in the workplace risk being demoted or fired, and the government continues to push an aggressive gay rights agenda, while threatening to criminalize Christian speech and practice. Christian politician and activist George Hargraves.
Yesterday, I got a letter from the Advertising Standards Authority of a complaint saying that my billboard that says Britain is a Christian country is offensive to atheists and other religions, and it incites hatred against them. What nonsense. Britain is constituted as a Christian country. Daily prayers are said in Parliament, whether atheists like it or not. The Queen is the head of the Church of England and therefore has to acknowledge God for her sovereignty over the nation. These things are written into not just our culture and our heritage, but into our Constitution.
Great Britain is officially a Christian nation, and in fact at one time was the missionary base for the entire world, even sending missionaries to the new American colonies. But Britain today in practice is increasingly anti-Christian, and the cases of anti-Christian bigotry and discrimination are beginning to pile up. In response, Christian legal centers have mobilized. Lawyer Andrea Minicello-Williams of Christian Concern for Our Nation warns that if British Christians don't step up now, Britain is on a path to criminalize the practice of Christianity in public.
There's been a massive move by the secularist lobby to privatize religion. You can have faith so long as it doesn't affect you in the workplace, so long as you don't bring it into the workplace. Just make it private. It can't be public. It can't affect what you do in the public square.
Christian Kwabena Pete was forced to attend homosexual sensitivity training at work, administered by a lesbian.
One of the things that she said was when she asked the question, what makes you all think that to be heterosexual is natural? At which point I walked out.
He then wrote a letter to the sensitivity trainer explaining the Bible's position on homosexuality, and that God loved her and he loved her. He was suspended.
They said that by me telling them about the Word of God, it's constituted harassment and intimidation.
Kwabena was just recently reinstated. Cases like Kwabena's are repeated over and over in Britain. Doctors, nurses, adoptive parents, deemed unfit because of their Christian beliefs. Christians are told not to speak about God in the workplace, or they're punished for offending homosexuals or Muslims. Now the British government wants to pass a new equality bill that would force churches to hire practicing homosexuals or transsexuals. Christian lawyer Paul Diamond has been very successful in fighting Christian discrimination cases in the courts.
In the United Kingdom, the homosexual agenda is militant, and they've been arresting Christians, jailing Christians for hate crimes, shutting off grants, constant litigation with the government, constant aggression. There's no live and let live. Your Christian values are wicked and evil, and that's what they want everybody to believe.
That sounds like a BBC program which portrayed a violent Christian beheading a Muslim. Britain's government TV has also put a Muslim in charge of all of its religious programming. Islam continues to advance in the UK in large part because the government and media give it almost a protected status, while essentially persecuting its own state religion, Christianity. Many believe the architect of Britain's new anti-Christian culture was former Prime Minister Tony Blair, who championed gay rights. And during our interviews with Minicello-Williams and Diamond, they both offered the same warning to American Christians, that any anti-life or hate crimes legislation under the Obama administration will erode America's Christian base.
This is all coming to America. If you liberalize the laws, as President Obama has done.
You know who Obama reminds every British person of? Tony Blair. Charming, persuasive, convincing, appearance of moderation, and then shoved all the Judeo-Christian values down, saying he was a Christian as he did it. So we know what's going to happen in America. We know what's going to happen to your 40% church attendance. It isn't 40%, it's going to be 20%. When the federal and state government starts saying, if you criticize homosexuality, the hate crime laws will apply to you Christians.
Dale Hurd, CBN News, London.
Friends, the Bible said the darkness covered the earth and gross darkness the people. One of the things that this Babylon, the Bible also says in 2 Thessalonians chapter 2, if you get time, read it, because that's how you're going to know that this power is the Antichrist, because this is the doctrine, the old time, dark ages, the reformers, they used to preach, and they point to this power, Antichrist, but now you don't hear no more. One of the things that they're doing is they infiltrate almost every system, so they're using so-called movie stars, or famous, so to speak, and they train them how they can dress short shirts. And whenever they do that, because they know that if they wear any kind of shirt, the world is going to copy, and they're going to dress like them. So they come up with all kinds of Babylon pagan short shirt, half naked dress. The devil's binding the world together to receive the mark of the beast. And now the senses of rational being has become so confused that they cannot be trusted to make a right decision. They don't know how to dress. They don't know how to eat. That's why Revelation chapter 18, God help us to understand that this world, this earth has become demonic. The hateful bird, ever unclean. This Babylon religion confusion, true mixed with liar. When they front of the camera, they pretend like humble people. Hypnosis, they hypnotizing the world. The Antichrist hiding in plain sight. The Bible called this system the mystery. It's a mystery for a lot of people. And according to Revelation chapter 13, the whole world will wonder after the beast. Whenever this power, they force the mark of the beast, the world is going to be wonder. They're going to be like, we thought they are humble, smooth walking, good people.
May I present Archbishop Kayan Barsamian, Primate of the Eastern Diocese of the Armenian Church in America.
According to ecumenical protocol, the Eastern Orthodox would be first in order, as they are, of course, first in priority in the Catholic Church's ecumenical responsibility.
May I present Archbishop Yichen Akachi, the legate and ecumenical officer of the Eastern Diocese of the Armenian Church in America and president of the National Council of Churches in the United States. Holiness, may I present Reverend Dr. Donald McCoy, representing the presiding Bishop Mark Hansen of the Evangelical Lutheran Church in America. Holiness, may I present Bishop Jeremiah J. Park, Bishop of the New York Annual Conference of the United Methodist Church. Your Holiness, may I present Reverend Wesley Granberg Michelson, the General Secretary of the Reformed Church in America. Your Holiness, may I present Reverend Dr. Clifton Kirkpatrick, the stated clerk of the General Assembly of the Presbyterian Church in the United States. Your Holiness, may I present Reverend Dr. William J. Shaw, President of the National Baptist Convention, United States. Your Holiness, may I present Bishop James Leggett, General Superintendent of the International Pentecost Holiness Church. Your Holiness, may I present Dr. Leith Anderson, President of the National Association of Evangelicals. Your Holiness, may I present Bishop David H. Benke, President of the Atlantic District of the Lutheran Church, Missouri Synod. Your Holiness, may I present Reverend Dr. A.R. Bernard Sr., President of the Council of Churches of the City of New York. Your Holiness, may I present Elder Bernice King, daughter of the civil rights leaders Martin Luther King Jr. and Coretta Scott King. Your Holiness, may I present Reverend Jimmy Song Jilim, Executive Director of the Council of Churches of the City of New York. Your Holiness, may I present the Right Reverend Mark Sisk, Bishop of the Episcopal Diocese of New York.
You understand the language, Your Holiness, and this is how they call this power. He think he is God. That's what their teachings is all about, friends. Religious leaders, when they come to meet this power, they wearing black. Notice, dark color. They represent the sinners, and he represent God. And now listen to what Bible says. 2 Thessalonians chapter 2. This is the chapter the Protestant Sunday churches, their forefathers, they used to protest against this power during dark ages, and they call them Antichrist. Notice,